good thing for sound to be audible. All right. So, so not pictured here is going to be the initial bundle install and RakeDB setup, which will be in the instructions. So this page, instead of just having the lesson in it, is going to have both the links to both lessons. So let's start with one user. And this is the single user component right here, already in page. So let's take a look at those files. So we've got, we'll start at the router, and we see manage user is handled by the pages controller. So pages controller, and we've got this manage user action right here. I follow this pattern, by the way, when I'm doing the initial in-browser mocks of a new feature. So before this will go out into its own controller eventually, a lot of times it'll just kind of start here, and me and another front-end developer will just be kind of working out of here, and then it'll eventually go to the actual controller. So I'm telling you this because it's not, this is like not a production-ready pattern that I'd be following, just throwing a bunch of unrelated things in the same controller.
What do you mean one difference, like a controller to the API?
So right here, I've got manage user. So I've got a generic home page of manage user and manage users all together. So this isn't necessary, won't necessarily reflect something you see in the real world. All right. So this is a single user component. So let's take a look at the manage user template here, and we see we've got Vue user. So that tells me that I've got a JavaScript file called user in components, and that's the case. And here that is same as that Vue user tag right there, and Vue templates, and we also have the template in the expected spot. So a lot of what I'm showing you is just consistency, so that way it's not a murder mystery when you go in to figure out later like where that front end code is, because that's often the case when there's not strong enough conventions in the front end, the JavaScript end on Rails. Okay, so you're going to see a lot of new stuff today. This right here is an init function in Vue, which is the thing that runs when the component first starts up. And this is typically where I go to get my data from. So real quick first, we've got one more. No, this is fine. So I set up a really quick API endpoint at this URL that's giving us a single user. So I'm not. Have you come across JSON out of Rails yet? Like this? Okay, cool. So it's exactly like that, I assume. So basically, we want this stuff inside of our web page so we can display it and hopefully edit it as well. So I'm going to take this part of the URL right here, and I'm going to say, I'm going to do some in-browser remembering of APIs, because this is often how I work. Like, oh crap, how do I type those words? So we get things from Rails APIs with $money.ajax, $Ajax, and I'm going to say URL is going to be this right here, method. It's going to be get. Good. You know what? Shits and grids. I'm going to put a comma there. Give that a shot. See what that looks like. So we can make this call right here, And we see in the network tab, we're freaking timeline. Nobody wants you. Yeah, it's fine. Sorry, having user interface problems right here.
No, it's me too. I don't know the answer to it.
Yeah, crap. Well, anyways. Yeah, well, it's this whole big freaking thing that nobody wants, but it's there by default now. It's fine. I'll just make... Nope. Shit. Let's undock this and make this a little bigger. Okay, so right here, so in the network tab, you can see what the browser is doing to go get things from the network when you run JavaScript. So I'll run this again, and I assume that... Oh, okay, that's right. There's no... It must not fire it without a callback. Well, I learned something new today. So I'm going to clear this. This is what we run to go get stuff from the network. The problem is with just what I'm showing you right here, like it'll go out theoretically and make a network call, but we can't do anything with it until we attach a callback with it via a promise. Now, right now, this is just going to be stuff that you type, which is going to be a little frustrating because I'm not going to give you a full explanation of what's behind it because it's going to open, so it's going to be a really deep rabbit hole with promises and callbacks. So I'd rather have you all start today typing magical things into and making the computer do the stuff, and then tomorrow we can talk more about promises and callbacks and what it means after you have the context of using them. Because I just don't think it'll be as meaningful today otherwise.
Or now you can kind of like a block that you give to it, and when it eventually gets the response from the server, it'll call the block.
And even better, the thing Josh just said. Console.log data. So right here, this will look a little bit familiar. It's when we type this thing into the computer, we get a hold of the data, which is the same as this, basically. And then we can take those strings and then do whatever the heck we want with them, basically. So let's do this in the init function now. Ajax. I'm just going to hard code the string for right now. So let's make sure that we have enough context here. So now we're spitting out, look, some data right to the console and also printing out this object. So any questions so far?
Is the $sign here, is that jQuery?
That's jQuery, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Everybody else, Ajax just means JavaScript makes an HTTP request. It's like REST client for JavaScript.
Yep. Yeah, this is just us phoning home right here. So you don't have a lot of... I haven't been using this in context yet, so you don't have much reason to care. But I just want to make sure that if there's anything So other than having no clue what I'm talking about, any questions?
How is this being sent? Like, what action is sending this to the browser or the user or whatever? Like, I just see it sitting in the asset pipeline. Like, why were you able to get it from the console?
Oh, because sitting in the console, it's, let me reattach this. This is driving me nuts. Because sitting in the console, I'm still in browser. I just happen to be like,
It's not like, it's like at any point now. I guess I'm just a little confused at why putting that in the pipeline allows you like Ajax calls.
well, this is so the it's not quite in the pipeline. It's just we could do this from a script tag as well. So it's pipeline's a little different. Let me I'll keep going, and then maybe with a little bit more context. Apparently that's my favorite word today is context. Okay, so we've got an init function once again that runs when Vue starts, and then we make this Ajax call as soon as Vue starts, and it looks some data and the data to the console. I've got the wrong thing here actually. So now instead of doing console log data, I actually want to assign this to our Vue component. Can anybody guess the syntax I'd use to do that? Based on what you're seeing here? So it's close. It's going to be self.user equals data. Yeah, it's coming from our data function right here. Yep. So I'm going to refresh the page here. And then it should be, there it is. Yeah, so now it's on, now we've got it on the component, that user object. So now we can do whatever we want with it. So I'm going to just spit out some, the name and email address right here. User. User.name. And for the email address? All right. All right, and we've got the name and the email address right there. So I'm going to actually commit this. This is going to go into master, so you'll have this here when you start. Now I'm going to make you type this. I lied. Check out.